Give me a hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah.
Greetings, listeners. Does this sound like you? You don't know what to watch next? Mindlessly scrolling down one streaming service, then another, and another, only to end up watching the same episodes of The Office you've seen 1,000 times? Not to worry. We here at the Half-Ass Podcast Network got you covered. Because we also know what the fuck we're watching next. Our next movie is always a mystery, always unknown, it's always to be determined. That's right, we let Tubi determine what we watch next, and you should too. So pour your beverages, pop your popcorn, and come along on a journey with us where our destinations are always to be determined. Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new episode To Be Determined. I'm your host, J-Man, and with me, as always, my partner in crime, Drinks of Ron. Ron, what are you sipping on tonight?
Well, I've come across a rarity in these parts. Usually has to be imported, but now I can get it nearby. Yingling has made it this far west, and I could not be happier about it.
Fuck you, tariffs. Tariffs be damned on Yingling.
That's right.
Oh, man. I outgrew my phase of Yingling. I was all about Yingling, like, oh, it's the oldest brewery in America. It was better in my eyes at the time, because, again, I was not trying to be not be a beer snob while being a beer snob, because I thought drinking light beers, a Miller Lite, Bud Light, was low class. But then I outdrank Yingling. It became too mundane for me. I was like, all right, can't do it anymore. I enjoy it every now and then, don't get me wrong, but
the equivalent here is Spotted Cow.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the beer that non-craft beer drinkers drink when they want to drink a non-light beer. And it's accessible, it's good, I enjoy it, but yeah, if I could have been getting it all these years, I'd definitely be over it by now. It's literally the availability that has made
there was a liquor store it was close to my house when I was living in an apartment with my wife, and I want to say it was the loose case of bottles, 24, and I think it was $17 or whatever it was, and I was like, yeah. I was pretty much going to the liquor store every week, getting a case.
Pick that shit up
every week. So yeah, when you drink 24 Yinglings in a week, every week, you kind of get tired of it pretty fast too.
Man, it doesn't take long. You got to rotate out, but
yeah. I mean, again, it was my go-to get off work beer, or maybe have during lunch or whatever if I was an off day beer. But so
yeah, it's a good shower beer. Yeah. Great shower beer. Yeah, I went to a wedding in Tennessee years ago, and the bride was from Wisconsin, which is how I made it there. But they had Yingling and Spotted Cow at the reception, but it was at an old-timey southern mansion. So it was just in tubs of ice. So I went over and got a Spotted Cow, and I looked at the guy and I said, you might want to put more Spotted Cows in there. And he kind of laughed. I'm like, no, I'm serious. You're not going to keep them cold. And he was like, whatever. And he kept it 50-50 with Yingling. And went back about 20 minutes later and was like, yeah, you should put more Spotted. Like, these aren't even going to be cold when you get them out of the ice. You'll have just put them in the ice. Finally, after about an hour, he fucking caved. And it's like, it doesn't matter. Now you're out. They're gone. The Wisconsin people just cleaned you. Now we'll drink your fucking Yingling. It's cold.
They did a Troy with Bud Light.
Yes. That's why I said usually that's how Wisconsin works. So for Troy to come here and do it is like the ultimate embarrassment. Like,
oh man,
my God, what kind of Wisconsin bar?
A bar that's barely open on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, we're not here.
I was able to get these at one of the bars in town a while ago.
Oh shit, that is a rarity.
The one that we were at on the parade of bars. I went in one night, walked in, stood at the bar, and I heard somebody at the other end yell, "Get him the secret stash!" And the bartender went in the back and came out with fucking Yingling. I was like, oh, well, I can't
fucking
sell
contraband.
it because that's what he said. I can't sell it, so here you go. Like, it's a Yingling and it's free. Like, fuck yeah,
double win.
Hit it
Love
again.
that.
It's a double win.
Yeah, you know what? It was.
All right. Well, that's enough beer talk for now.
Yeah.
Again, we
Is
might
it,
do
though?
this whole barley and hops pod spinoff eventually.
Or is there going to be
Um,
more beer talk coming up?
But we are, yes, you're speaking of beer talk. We might be talking more beer talk with your movie.
Yeah, take it off.
And so that's what we're here to talk about is the movies to be determined for us. And I'm gonna let you go first because again, we don't have a guest. We will have a guest next time. We weren't able to secure a guest back to this episode, unfortunately, but we're still here doing our movies, so we'll let you go first as the non-guest going first person.
Yeah. Keep the rotation alive. I got a classic. It's another one that used to be on TV all the time. I think TBS mainly played the
yep.
living shit out of it. But you would walk through a room and it would be on. So you'd see bits and pieces, parts. I never saw the whole fucking movie. Even in broadcasting school, getting baked at my buddy's house. We'd start watching it and then, something come up, we'd have to bail, go back to class or whatever. So I really only saw this movie all the way through for the first time a couple of months ago. And it wasn't even, I had to rewatch it because it wasn't even fresh. But I got Strange Brew. 1983 comedy crime sci-fi. Two lowly brewery workers discover that a deranged brewer plans to tamper with the beer for nefarious purposes and set out to stop him. Yeah.
You gave him all our beer, he's loaded. No way. He's supposed to roar. Maybe I ought to crank his tail, eh? That'll start him up. Okay, start up. Come on, eh? Maybe we ought to call Marlon Perkins, eh?
Fucking with the
Get Wild
lion.
Kingdom here, eh? Hey, come. Oh, jeez, he's getting mad, eh? Yeah. Oh, jeez, we better get home. You do the theme, eh? Oh. Good day. Oh, do our new movie theme, eh? Yeah, okay.
This is literally
Good
the
day,
open
I'm
to the
Bob
movie.
McKenzie. This is my brother Doug. How's it going, eh? Welcome to our movie, eh? Okay, our topic is movies. There's the difference between TV and movies, eh? Okay, go back to movies. Geez, now that hoser's growling. Yeah. Take off, will you? We're doing our movie. Don't wreck our show, you hoser. Okay, another topic. Zoom out, eh? Yeah. Let's show how big the screen is, eh? See what happened? Film broke. Rip off! You cut off our movie. It's only a preview, eh? I didn't want to show them. We're leaving, you hoser. You got them mad. They came to see Strange Brew.
Take off, this is just a preview. Our movie's not coming out till the summer, you knob.
They've been saving their allowance for weeks to see this movie.
You lied to them.
You better tell.
You better tell.
No, you tell
We'll
us.
get that guy with the big voice to tell him.
Direct from SCTV, it's Bob and Doug McKenzie spilling across the screen this summer in Strange Brew.
Nice voice, hoser.
Thank you.
Beauty.
Beauty. Yeah, that's literally basically the whole open of the movie. And it told you nothing of what's happening. But at the same time, it told you everything, because that's Bob and Doug
hoser.
McKenzie. Yeah.
Eh?
They're essentially a slightly more intelligent Canadian Beavis and Butthead. But they're more easygoing. You know what? I'm ready to fucking get into this. And now, our feature presentation, loser. Take off, eh? If you don't know these guys, Bob and Doug McKenzie, Rick Moranis, Dave Thomas, it's from Second City TV, sketch comedy in the early 80s. These were fairly popular characters at the time. I remember as a little kid, we had a phase where we were calling everybody hosers and telling them to take off. So it was definitely a thing. But
I remember the hosers bit too. I didn't watch much SCTV, although it was a monster cast.
Yes.
Monster. John Candy, Tom Hanks, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's so many on there. We got it in reruns later, but like I said Bob and Doug, they permeated the fucking culture. Because, yeah, I said I remember as kids, we had a phase where we were doing that. Yeah, so they open with a fake movie. Crowd gets pissed that their fake movie sucks. They run. They go home, get some beers. And I love Rick Moranis calling it a church key to open the beers. So they start drinking one. They have to give one to their dog, who is named Hosehead. Of course, Hosehead gets a beer. But they fucked up and gave him the last beer that was supposed to go to their old man, and now he doesn't have one. So to get out of this, they decide to try to steal the beer back from the dog's bowl, complete with all the dried out wet food that was stuck to the sides. But Hosehead, being the Canadian dog that he is, he does not want to give up his beer. And he's showing his teeth. They have to distract him somehow.
I think Norm would be that person or that dog.
No, that's Ted Jansen. Fucking,
Ted would be the one.
Instant, yeah, crazy eyes. He'll fucking, yeah. Yeah, so he fucking, they get it back from him and dump it in a glass. Fucking disgusting. And Dad, played by Mel Blanc, that voice is just fucking timeless. Get me a beer, you hosers. Well, we're out of beer. He's like, get me some first thing in the morning. We need money. Use the money I gave you today, which Rick Moranis apparently gave away in the chase scene. So they've got no money to get beer. They come up with a plan. They're going to go to the beer place and say they found a mouse in their beer and get a free case of beer. So they go. It's great. You walk into this place and it's just a dude, and you tell him what kind of beer you want and how many, and then it comes down a conveyor belt and he tells you a price. It was awesome. $14.70 for a case of Elsinore in 1983. So I'm assuming there must be a bottle deposit with that, because that seems like a lot of money for a case of beer.
Yeah, like, I mean, I can get a 30-pack of Natty Light right now for like $18.
14 years after that, I was getting a case of Beast for $8.43. Like,
yeah, like that seems actually, that's like
really high. But that's Canadian.
That's some microbrewery shit prices right now that you go to your local brewery for.
I should have
actually, you know what? A 6-pack or a 4-pack costs like $19 now. Well, we don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I should have looked up the Canadian conversion though. I bet that's where we're gonna. But the guy basically tells them to go fuck themselves because he's not having their shit, and if they want free beer, take it to the brewery. So off we go to the brewery, and I love it because they literally, it's like a painting off the bottle is what they use for the background. So they literally like drive up to the fucking shitty looking, basically, yeah, the exact logo. So it's great. It's classic brewery, looks a little bit like New Glarus. So it's. All right, so they set us up for hilarity down the road by pointing out that the mental asylum is right next to the brewery. They show up and they meet the owner's daughter, who is stuck in a gate. The gate is crushing her car and sparks are flying, so they have to ram her. I should point out here that the storyline is kind of, I guess, think Yellowbeard, not in a great ensemble cast, but that the storyline is simple and totally irrelevant. Like, forget what's going on. I'm glossing over so many great fucking lines here. Like, they go to get her. We got to ram her from behind. Like you got to drive. Well, why do I got to drive? Well, because if she gets whiplash and sues, then I'm just a hitchhiker, eh? And he gets in the car. And so hey, you won't sue, will you? And like, just little shit like that. It's all one-liners. Like when they go into the beer place. Okay, you boss me around. It's just one after another. And I watched it again recently for this and realized how much shit I had glossed over. So many fucking lines. Great scene at the front desk of the brewery where they show up to have a meeting with the owner and they find out from the secretary that he's dead. So they don't know what to do now because they're not very smart. They hadn't planned ahead. So they decide to bribe her with a donut, which works.
Hell yeah.
So she gives them some information. Not enough information, so give her yours, eh? Oh, it's my last one. Oh, it's a jelly. So she takes a jelly donut. They get the rest of their information to complete their scam. And once they get into the brewery, they run into a former hockey player in the hallway. He looks like he's completely out of it. they trick him into taking them to the new owner, where they try to pay off their mouse scam, and it actually kind of works because they're having the chick who was in the gate, the owner's daughter. They're having a meeting about the brewery, and she's bitching that there's no people there. So if we had people on the line, we wouldn't have a mouse in the bottle. So they end up actually getting hired at the brewery. It's great. Right. They go home with a bunch of beer and jobs. Their dad's so excited he wakes up the whole neighborhood screaming. Pretty solid scene. Now we get some batshit crazy shit about their evil plan going down at the brewery, which somehow involves mental patients playing hockey and being controlled by the organ that's being played. As I said, forget the fucking storyline. It's irrelevant. But so we get to the brewery the next day. They're asleep on the couch already, hammered, sleeping it off. So she takes them to the cafeteria, which is empty because they've got no people at the brewery. There's no power. The vending machines are off. So are the video games, including Galactic Border Patrol. It's not working. So just, again, so much great shit in here. Like, if I'm describing this scene, it sounds fucking stupid, but he finds a door and he's like, hey, I get into this door. You got a credit card? And Rick Moranis playing telephone. Hey, you got a credit card? Like, yeah, I got one. Yeah, she's got one. And they like you can completely hear everything, and they play the whole scene out. Like, well, tell her I need it because I gotta get into this door. Hey, need your credit card to get into that door, eh? Like, okay, you can have it. Okay, I'm getting the card. Like, the whole scene is just every stupid
Rick
fucking thing they do.
In the 80s and the like 90s. It was just, he's so good. So good.
And this last rewatch, I really started appreciating him even more. Those scenes like that. It's just
like him in Ghostbusters, just talking about like the plans he's got for the party, the different kinds of cheeses he has, the fucking stuff he taught. It's just
that's
so
like 2 years later.
Yeah, like the thing, like he just does that nonstop, and I'm like, man,
so good. He's so fucking good.
As a kid, when I watched Ghostbusters, I never would ever appreciate that. But as like an adult, to understand the comedy of that, it's so fucking funny, and his ability to do it was spot on.
How well he's doing.
We mentioned in the last episode, it sucks that he retired from acting because he was so good. But yeah, right. But like he was so good.
Yeah, I said this rewatch, I totally appreciated him even more.
I haven't seen this movie in so long, but I can just remember. Actually, I don't think I've actually fully. I think I'm on your page, like just seeing bits and pieces of it. But I can just see him doing the telephone thing right now with his mannerisms, and I can just picture it. And I'm like, all right,
okay, needs your credit card. Okay, I'm coming with a credit card. It's so. I actually fucking laughed out loud at some of these scenes. It's like, god damn, how do I not remember? How fucking good these are. They get the power turned on. Great bit where the vending machines come on. So, hey, I'm going to have chocolate milk. Like, he's expired 4 months ago, hoser. So, the Galactic Border Patrol lights up. Some weird shit happens. It's glowing. I'm sure that's foreshadowed. So she ends up meeting the evil brewmaster, and she shit cans him, gives him 2 weeks. So they got to speed shit up. Evil Brewmaster decides to put Bob and Doug in the hockey game and crank it up to level 5 so they get their asses kicked. Let's see. Oh, the worst part, though, is while they were playing, someone horked their clothes, eh? So they come back and their clothes are gone. Meanwhile, she goes back to the video game with the other brewery dude who she trusts, and she actually sees a video of her father being murdered. Oh, I left that out. Her father was murdered, apparently. We knew he died, and that's why she's back at the brewery. But she sees video of him actually being murdered by her uncle, who has taken over the brewery by instantly marrying her mom the day after the dude died. Not at all suspicious.
That's not suspicious at all whatsoever.
Right. Like I said, it with the absurdity going on in this movie, I kind of glossed over all those details. So they go to report their missing clothes, and who do we see but someone go by them with their clothes on? So In the meanwhile, she discovers the surveillance that's all over the brewery, and just as she sees what she thinks are Bob and Doug behind her, they turn around and get shot with darts. Let's see, Bob and Doug show up. They find the brewmaster's assistant, think he's dead, but they realize he's passed out, and there's a great bit with the keyboard. There's a keyboard in front of him, and fucking Rick Moranis starts playing fucking Foxy Lady on the hockey rink. And then they realize that the organ makes the hockey players react. So they play their Great White North theme song, and everybody fights. Then they get shot with darts. Then the first two that got shot with darts, the chick and the other brewery guy, get put into barrels, loaded in the back of Bob and Doug's flat-faced GMC van, making another fucking appearance this week. But they cut the brakes. But of course, Bob and Doug fuck up their evil plan because they decide to go home for beers on this special assignment that they've been sent on, which they were told was Pam's birthday, which they told Rosie, the hockey player from earlier. He's all excited to go to Pam's birthday because he likes her, so we've got our obligatory love story in there. And oh yeah, while they were fucking around with the keyboard, he got a floppy disk from one of the computers, and they tried a great scene there. They try to play it on the record player. It's all square, and they're like, "Oh, this must be one of those EPs from a British new wave band, eh?" And they put it on, and it makes a bunch of weird scratchy sounds. What do you think? I think it sounds like a British new wave band, eh? Yeah, beauty sound. Not my style, though. Oh, let's give it to Hosehead. Hey, Hosehead, add it to your collection. They throw it to the dog, who catches it in his mouth. I'm sure that won't come back into play. But when we're at the house, we also get a special shot where Bob and Doug walk in on their parents doing it. And they play their parents, which is just delightful. Rick Moranis with a wig. Not a thing that leaves your head real quick. Also say Canadian street lamps in the 80s were pretty kick-ass, eh? Let's see, now we got Rosie on a mini bike wearing a hockey goalie mask and a suit coat with flowers because he's heading to Pam's birthday party that isn't a thing, eh? So they're driving, the van's brakes go out, one of the kegs falls out and gets bounced around like a motherfuck. I'm assuming that's the brewery guy. The second one goes into the water with the van as it flies off a makeshift ramp of crates at the dock. Now we see Rosie diving in, realizes that it's Pam out there in the keg, eh? So he goes and saves her by giving up his air and then drowning and just floating down and landing on Bob and Doug's van. Very, very sad. Then we have an intermission for a few seconds, and then the next thing you see is Rosie's out of the water and they're putting him into an ambulance. Well, what the fuck's going on? Nobody could survive out there, the police are saying. So they send in a police diver who goes down, and there's Bob and Doug sitting in the submerged van, drinking bottles of air. The cop taps on the window, and Dave Thomas pulls out his fucking driver's license, and just fucking classic. So they end up getting arrested. Great bit there. They're in jail, telling everybody about their tales of how badass they are. The evil brewmaster shoots this chick with a dart right after they get her out of the water. So she's all drugged up, and she can't even identify these guys. They bring them into a police lineup. But, of course, Bob and Doug identify themselves. Oh, hey, that's her, eh? Hey, how's it going? And so then they get arrested. They find out the lawyer apparently must be from the brewery. I don't know. It sounds like he's not on their side, but I'm confused. All right, evil scientist discovers the disc is missing. They know who has it. Then we get some crazy shit with electricity flying around and the computers, which is pointed out there's no scientific explanation for. Apparently the brewmaster is also the head psychologist at the painting, which is the brewery and asylum. So he basically gets Bob and Doug committed. We priceless fucking straitjacket scene, complete with steamroller. I'm gonna steamroller you, eh? No, I'm gonna steamroller you, hoser. Fucking classic. It turns out they're going to lobotomize this chick in the morning and murder Rosie, who's still in the hospital. Of course, that all gets thwarted. Rosie escapes, but meanwhile, we've got a polygraph scene with Bob and Doug. Another fucking great one. Fucking farts. I didn't do that, eh? And of course the polygraph goes all crazy. And the polygraph, another thing I was led to believe I'd be dealing with all the time in the future.
Yeah, like that was like a thing, right? Like we're going to polygraph test you. You'd see
all
if
the
you're
time.
lying.
Yep, I was trying to work out how I was going to get around it just in case something happened. I don't know, but I thought it was going to come up all the time. Let's see. So Rosie escapes, and the guys realize that Pam's in the hospital. Everything is converging at once, happening really fast. The cops go to Bob and Doug's house. They knock on the door, where somehow Hosehead is on the roof and throws the disc at the police before running up the roof and disappearing. We got about 20 minutes left, and I'm gonna punch her out there. Like I said, think of Yellowbeard. It's the plot's almost irrelevant. I could have just gave it to you straightforward. It doesn't matter. All the jokes are in there. You can skip and jump in and out of it because it's so many one-liners, and I had an even better appreciation for it this time. This one's a large popcorn with a side of beer, eh? Large popcorn with a side of beer, eh?
The more you talked about it, again, the last time I remember about it, I know I've seen bits and pieces of it. I don't know if I did see the whole thing, but yeah, man. Again, I love Rick Moranis. Love the idea of a stupid comedy revolving around beer. I mean, i.e. Beer Fest. Give me Beer Fest all day long. So, yeah, I'm in. 100%.
Yeah, I finally watched the whole thing in order, like I said, a few months ago for the first time. I remember thinking, yeah, this is okay, but I was more focused on the plot, which I said, again, kind of fucking dumb. A lot of weird shit with computers and electricity and flying lights and dead dad exposing the whole thing. It doesn't matter because every time they say something fucking stupid, it's comedy gold.
I mean, it's just like Spaceballs, right? Like the whole plot of, I mean, it's just obviously a spoof of Star Wars. It's not about plot. It doesn't matter. This is dumb shit they do in the meantime. Like
it has an arc.
Yes, the spoofs of Alien is really funny when the fucking thing comes out of his stomach and hello, my darling. Like that's great. Whether it's a spoof of Alien or not, it's fucking funny.
Mm-hmm. Right. Even if you don't get the reference, that's a fucking good bit.
Think again. I never saw Alien before seeing that scene. No idea about it. Just thought it was a really funny scene with this fucking xenomorph, as I now know it's the term, it comes out of this guy's stomach and doing hello, my darling, hello, my baby.
Found out later. Doesn't matter. Right. Alien doing that was fucking great.
Seeing that because I saw Bugs Bunny do it. That was a bit he used to do all the time. Yeah. So I saw that. So I was like, yeah, this is fucking funny. And then not bad for a girl. That was good, pretty much good for Rambo. Like it's again, never saw Rambo.
Yeah,
knew of him, but just knew that she fucking lit every single stormtrooper wannabe. like. So again, no matter what the plot, as long as you have one-liners and stuff like that, especially those kind. Yeah. So
the jokes
I'm in on this
are
movie.
all there. Yeah, like when they're running from the crowd at the very beginning, they get in the van and turn around and like I don't know stalls or something, and the cops there, and you're like, oh, hey, sorry, officer, hey, leave my brother alone, he's drunk. Oh, I'm not drunk. Take off. Like little shit like that all the way through.
I just watched Nothing But Trouble because it was like the latest Cinephobe. And speaking of getting drunk, they had the old breathalyzer in John Candy's cruiser, where it was like the big huge box and it had like the tube that went to it. I'm like, holy shit, that is really old school technology, obviously, because it was in 90, 89 or whatever it was. No, it was not. It was 91.
90, yeah, I was gonna say early
91.
90s. Yeah, it's Tupac in there.
Tupac's in it. Digital Underground is in that.
Oh yeah.
I had it when I had Nothing But Trouble on my last wheel, but it didn't land on that. It didn't land on that. And I figured you would like your movie, Ron, because we talked about how much we loved Rick Moranis and how much of a cult classic it was. And then we talked about my movie, when I landed on my movie, and how I just put it on there as a fucking joke because of who was on the cover. And it's got a 1 in 16 chance of landing. It's not going to happen. And given my luck, I've been pretty lucky so far of gambling sports-wise this year, so I'm kind of happy with that. But not getting this movie in my algorithm didn't really work so well for me, and that's Recoil. This 2012 action crime movie is supposed to be about after arriving in a gang-controlled Washington town, an ex-cop seeks to avenge his family by tracking down gang members who killed them. So before you hit the trailer run, I have got to read IMDb's because this kind of says something about it here, but then this makes a lot more sense in this movie. A cop turns vigilante after his family is murdered, exacting vengeance on the killers and then on all criminals who have slipped through the system. So instead of just killing the killers, he's just going to kill everyone, essentially.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds better.
Which is the movie.
Yeah. No, that sounds like a better movie, honestly.
Do I have a trailer? I'm
yeah.
curious if I do or not. Oh, I do.
I love you.
Like you scratched. I came here for Rex.
You come for one of them, you get them all.
Shit.
Drake runs this town. Meth, guns. He's the mayor. We're all just paying rent.
No, I don't want to see a whole lot of new faces. No feds, no ATF.
I'm gonna enjoy killing you.
We got a score to settle, don't we?
So if you're gonna shake the cage, go for it. But leave me out of it.
Do you remember?
So many explosions.
There's one.
To get their money out of it.
Where'd you learn to fight like that? From fighting.
That line, that sold me.
I'm so mad it's in the trailer. I'm so mad it's in the trailer. Oh my god. It is. Oh. I want to reveal that to you as a surprise of a line. That is such
that got
downer. I was so mad it's in the trailer.
I think I fist pumped down here when I downloaded that. It's like,
you fist pumped? I
Oh,
will
so
share my
good.
notes with that in a second. Oh my god. And
I got to listen to some Stone Cold grabbing your sound bites, and oh my god, when he did the what thing, Jesus Christ, what?
it's so we'll get more into it in a second, but man, again, the reason why I picked this movie because I saw the cover. It was Stone Cold Steve Austin, and if you didn't recognize their voice in the trailer, Danny Trejo's in this movie. So I was like, you know what?
Oh.
Why not throw this on there for shits and giggles? And of course, I land on it, but. I'm mad at Landon. Hey, so let's get into this 2012 action comedy movie over here, Recoil, where they both have a score to settle.
Oh shit! And now, feature presentation, you dumb son of a bitch.
That's right. This movie stars none other than Stone Cold Steve Austin. And can I get a hell yeah?
Give me a hell yeah!
What?
All right, so it's not a hard concept to think that wrestlers can become decent actors, because after all, and besides the guy in the stands who said it's still real for him, we all know wrestling's fake and it's acting. So some people are better at selling injuries or not, but again, it's not hard. It's not a stretch of imagination. You know, we can make wrestlers actors because they act every day on stage or on their mat. We get it. So I get why they want to put these people in action movies. But this movie is an example of why you don't have to do it. So it starts off with Chevelle racing down an empty street at night, a map and a news clip's position on the passenger side of the seat saying Burroughs goes free. I think that's something to do with the driver. I don't know. Again, it's just a hand touching the newspaper. Don't know what it has to do. Is this a period piece because we got an older car, newspaper clipping, and a map? I don't know. I don't know what the time frame is supposed to be in. We'll figure this out later. This guy is clearly drunk because they're showing the headlight, the camera as a headlight view of front of the car, POV, and it's all over the road, right side of the road, left side of the road. So this guy's not a good driver. Must be drunk. So we got the 3 dudes in the forest hunting, and my man has a machine gun and shoots at a rabbit that's like 5 feet from him, like 30 rounds, misses the rabbit. So glad you had a machine gun to go hunting for rabbits, and you still fucking missed.
Yeah.
The 2 other guys give him shit and tell him, let's just head back. He says he ain't leaving until he kills something. He goes running off because he hears bushes rustling. Thanks, closed captioning, for the actual, description of what's going on.
Yeah.
Gets to a clearing, and here comes Stone Cold, chokes the guy, and is rushing his throat. And the guy whose name is Dale says, I'll give you anything you want. Or I'll give anything what you want. He says, I want you to remember some person. I don't know. I forgot the name. I'm sure it's his wife. Before you die,
Becky.
and throws him off the cliff. So he's like, I want you to remember this person. And then you hear more bone crushing of his throat and then throws him off the cliff. Because again, he's a wrestler. He can chokeslam people. That's what they do in wrestling. Stone Cold's now cleaning his gun, goes to a diner, and the waitress asks him, are you a trucker or something like that? He says, something like that. She asks, where is he headed? And he says, north. And this dumb bitch says, Canada. Ain't much up there, but Canada, quite possibly the worst dialogue written in a movie ever. I don't know. That is, ain't much up there, but Canada.
You said that wrong for a second.
Nope, that's verbatim, line for line, word for word. This better rapidly turn into this is so bad it's good, or I might not finish this. I said it was Chevelle, and I was mistaken. I'm sorry. It was a Pontiac GTX. Still a fucking badass car, don't get me wrong. But all you saw was headlight view and a wheel view when you first saw the car. So It was quick. Looked like Chevelle front end. I'm sorry. But anyway, let's to the car. It's GTX. There's a scene that happens at a gas station for no reason. I'm guessing to fill time. I have no idea why. He goes in to get the gas station. Nothing important there. Cut to the police station, and a guy is showing a room of cops, dead bodies, and crime scene photos. And the guy who killed those people in the crime scene photos was Dale, and the lead cop, who is Lachlan Monroe, who's Craig from Night of the Roxbury. He's in Scary Movie, Dead Man on Campus. You recognize him. He wants 24-hour surveillance on Dale, and another cop comes in, barging in, and says, you need to cancel that surveillance. And Lachlan goes, why? He's like, someone just turned Dale into an abstract art. Comedy.
Shit. Wonder where that would come in, yeah.
We can't talk about, just someone killed him. He's turned him into abstract art.
Right.
And by the way, the abstract art that I saw, because again, they do show the body after he throws him off the cliff, is just him with his arm to one side because he fell off the fucking cliff. It wasn't like he was folded like a pretzel. Anyway, I was starting to wonder if this is a period piece because they've only shown old towns and old cars, but there's a computer at the motel. Stone Cold checks in, so I'm guessing this is the 90s, maybe, possibly. I have no idea. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, be early 2000s, yeah.
So, again, Stone Cold, while he was driving, after just chokeslamming someone, he goes to that Washington town, as they mentioned in the description of the movie. Some guy comes out of a bar and is about to shoot a dog because it's barking. Don't know why you would do such a thing.
Don't do that in front of Stone Cold.
Nope. Austin knocks him around because fuck that guy.
Right.
And then a whole bunch of biker gangs come. The biker gang comes out of the bar, and it's Hector, who's running 3 Honda Civics with spoon engines, and Danny fucking Trejo comes out of the bar, and Danny goes, we got a problem? And Austin replies, not anymore. Comedy. He's got one-liners. So he goes back to the motel, talks to the girl who works at the motel. She mentioned her husband was a gearhead, and they had a Mustang. She's widowed, not divorced. I'm sure this will come back into place somewhere later in this movie. I don't know. Trejo is hitting the heavy bag, and Hector tells him he's ready. Trejo asks how much he owes, and Hector says $1,500, and Trejo says, let's even it out. And he's going to fight this dude to pay off his debt. I'm assuming. I don't know. I mean, this guy is clearly a foot taller than Trejo, and like Trejo is not a big guy whatsoever.
No.
But the guy he's ready to fight is massive compared to Trejo. So, again, you're making Trejo look like this badass, but they clearly show like the full length pictures of these people. I'm like, Trejo is not a tall guy. But, you know, they make Trejo this like indestructible badass naturally, and he beats the living shit out of him. And the ring they're fighting in, they're in this like cage, and it's got an electric fence. So every time he punches him against a fence, he gets fucking electrocuted too. Like, that is Jesus Christ, dude.
Right.
All right, so Trejo sends Hector to check on the lap. Did I write that right? He calls him the lap. He thinks he's the prospect of smoking all the merch. Trejo has someone follow Hector. There's a lack of trust in this biker gang. No one trusts Hector. No one trusts the lap.
It's no way.
We got some inner conflict here.
Yeah, you got to work.
Hector goes to the motel, and Darcy, the woman who works there, stands up to him, and he smacks her around because, again, you know, he's a biker gang dude. You know, why not?
Yeah.
Austin comes out and knocks him out. She says, "You can't touch him. He's Trejo's brother." He says, "I'll try not to get any of him on me."
Duh,
so
shit.
We know he's going to die now. Hector is screaming and begging on top of the car, and he says, "I know why you're here." And he says, "I'm acquitted." And Austin says, "Not by me." Again, one-liners.
Oh, see, and that's what I was sold from that trailer. Austin is great on the stick.
But I got to tell you, it's not great.
Oh.
It's delivered so deadpan. It's not like there's no, the thing is like about those lines, if they're delivered with charm and like kind of like satire in a way.
No, he wants vengeance, man.
He just does it so deadpan. It's like, not by me.
That's right. Yeah. No, it's personal. He's got things to do because it was his family.
He asked him, what do they call you? He asked Hector, what do they call you? The Highwayman? What a beautiful night for a drive. Enjoy the drive, Highwayman, and turns the car on, puts it in gear, and has a brick on the pedal, and it speeds into the shed that they were cooking meth in, and that shit explodes.
Well, as meth does.
So the shed, I forgot to mention, with the shed is where Hector followed the lap to, and someone followed Hector too. So that's they went to the shed where they're cooking meth. Gang tells Trejo that his brother has been killed, while Austin goes into confession while he has a flashback of his family. Again, it's a very short flashback, doesn't really happen very long. Cops show up to the fire mess because why wouldn't they? Because there's a fucking fire in their town. And the cop tells him there's no reason to tear the town apart, and Trejo tells him he lives in this city because he says he can live in the city, and he'll burn this motherfucker to the ground, and there's not a fucking thing you can do about it. All right, Trejo runs the city. We have established this.
I believe him.
Yeah. The sheriff's son is also a deputy, and he's pretty much telling his dad to man the fuck up and do something to Trejo. Dude, shut up.
Yeah.
You're gonna die. Trejo.
Fuck you, kid.
There's a reason why your dad's being a little bitch about this, because Trejo's gonna kill him if he does anything, slips up. Let your dad be. You want to see your dad in a body bag? That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. You know how you've been living all this time? Yeah. Just let him
I let Trejo do what he wants to do. I don't. I don't say stop this.
You know how not hard to find you are? That's a liability.
All right. So again, back in the motel, Darcy reveals Trejo's gang killed her husband. Wants Austin to keep her out of this war that you heard in the trailer. He starts a war of Trejo. There's a scene where Darcy goes back to the gas station, which is also a general store because it's a really small town in Washington. Right. Yeah. And there's clearly name brand stuff on these shelves, but they clearly had the budget to pay them, so they're all turned around. Also, didn't have the time to make fake labels like they do in sitcoms, so it's just all turned around.
Yeah. Is this extra strength Tide?
Like, even the batteries behind him on the shelf turn around. You can clearly tell it's Camel's Chunky that she's looking at. It's just a red can, but again, it's clearly the Camel's Chunky.
How much for this pack of Burra cells?
Lachlan's character, his name is Agent Sutton. He tells his partner that the vigilante struck again, and he gives an us exposition on the biker gang that we don't need. Because we see the biker gang this entire movie.
Yeah.
We know what's going on.
We know they suck. Yeah.
Darcy tells Austin that she usually makes a big dinner on Friday night, and it's usually just her, drinks some wine, and watches Price is Right. Price is Right is what you do on sick days, and you're home from school. Who the fuck is watching reruns of that show?
Yeah. All right, you gotta go supermarket sweep.
Yeah, she's pretty much like, saying, hey, I'm making dinner. Do you want to come join me? Without saying it, but he's like not picking up what she's putting down. Because again, he's got vengeance on his mind, not pussy.
Right. And leave me out of this and also come over for dinner.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Leave me out of this, but hey, do you want to have sex?
Also, yeah, you want to be at my house when they come looking for you? That'd be cool too.
And the thing is, I don't know if she has a house because it's always at the motel. So I don't know if she lives in the motel or not. I don't know. And by the way, the motel just might be a house. I don't know. I really the layout is really not sure. It might just be like a 2 string of cabins. I don't know. It's left to the imagination because there's no floor plan / they don't ever show you the layout. There's like a yellow sign that says motel on the porch of the front desk area, which again looks like a house. So It's like the house is the front desk, and maybe the guest house of this rancher / cabin is the motel part. I don't know. Leaves you to suspension of disbelief here.
Yeah.
So Trejo makes Kirby, who's the gas station guy, promise he'll keep an ear and eye out on Austin and tell Trejo everything he finds out. So now Kirby, the gas station guy, is going to be the informant for Trejo.
Let's Diet Mountain Dew.
I'm sure this will work out well for Kirby.
Yeah.
The sheriff's son tells his dad that the tourist Austin is a former cop from Dallas who worked at high-profile drug rings. After this, they cut to the scene where there's 3 flatbed trucks, not 3, 3 white box trucks come to the bar that Austin beat the guy out of. He was trying to kill a dog. And they all have guns and drugs in these cars, or these trucks. Austin makes it one of the tires on that truck has a flat tire, knocks him around, goes as he goes to fix the flat tires. Of course, he's like, all right, I'll be right there a little bit. I had a flat tire. I'll be right there. Knocks him out. And then, of course, because this is a movie with action, what do you think happens to this van or this box truck? That's right. He sticks a little rag in it with some lighter fluid. And, of course, blows it up as he walks away slowly, because that's what you do in one of these movies.
Yes! Fuck yes! I gotta say, you are not unselling me on this movie.
I will unsell you this in a second, don't worry.
Okay.
Trejo was informed that his truck was jacked while he's beating on what you think is the heavy bag he was hitting on earlier. Nope, turns out it's one of his gang members who's tied to the heavy bag.
Oh!
And I don't know if this guy's dead or not, but man, he was being literally beaten to death. Like that guy, Trejo was punching this bag. Well, him, but punching it hard. Again, since Kirby is the informant, he breaks into Austin's car. Do you have a death wish, dude? Do you see Austin? What are you doing?
Yeah, so, all you had to do was watch him. He didn't say break
Austin catches him doing it. He's like, hey, usually mechanics check under the hood. And he's like, hey, and tries to do some small talk. Anyway, he reveals that, hey, I want to live. They're trying to kill me. I was asked to spy on you. Again, he backed down, rightfully so, because, why wouldn't you? So while they're talking, as he's like explaining everything that's going on, like why he's breaking into his car, one of the guys from the Circle, that's the name of the biker's gang, by the way, which is a terrible name for a biker gang.
Lame.
Circle. Shows up, and Austin beats his ass in what is supposed to be this awesome fight scene with slow motion sequences, of like dodging punches and like landing blows, and they're just trying too hard. It's terrible. And then this is where I thought I would reveal a great line to you, and Kirby asks, where'd you learn to fight like that? And Austin says, fighting.
Yeah.
Top notch writing, I think.
Love it.
Again,
Austin makes it work for me.
All right, so we'll stop right here for a second. It's not great because, again, he doesn't have charisma in this movie whatsoever. Whereas, like, if Jason Statham said it with, like, his fucking British accent and, like, fighting, just, like, his, like, attitude, it'd been so much better. But, like, he's just
never
so
avenging
deadpan.
his family, though. He's always...
Every movie is with Jason Statham avenging something. Or he has a job to do.
It's always a job, so he can be snide. No, Stone Cold, this is fucking...
All right. All right, you can watch this all you want.
I'm gonna.
I'm trying to warn you. And when I get my review, you'll understand why. Like, when my final ranking here, you'll understand why. All right.
Slow motion, explosion, walk away. Sold.
Nothing ever will beat the CSI Miami one. When he does it, it's so fucking dumb. But again, to make David Caruso look like a badass,
Yeah.
as he walks away from an explosion while putting on his sunglasses. All right. Anyway, Trejo meets with the sheriff and he informs him that Austin's the next cop. And Trejo doesn't want to see any new faces, as you heard in the trailer. You know, I'm pretty sure they're coming though, dude, because again, there's people on your tail. Hey, look at that. Naturally, they kill Kirby and they hang him from chains on a tow truck.
Yeah, duh.
And at this point, Darcy grabs a gun from the deputy, the sheriff's son, and she's about to kill the whole gang. I'm like, easy there, Darcy. You got one 9mm pistol against the whole biker gang.
Let's take it down a notch.
There. Obviously, he stops her. So Sutton shows up and he says he'll be there as long as it takes to solve this vigilante case. So again, there's the FBI showing up for you already. Austin goes to the bar and beats the shit out of everyone. That's where you hear the line, "I think you scratched," which it's one of the worst pool shots I've ever seen in my life. He just hits a pool ball and it goes all the way off the table. It's awful. And Austin catches it. "I think you scratched."
Oh.
And the guy he beat up at the Kirby's house, so when Kirby's at the bar or at the gas station, that guy he beat up and let go. He let the guy go. So he takes that guy from the bar after he beat up everyone around the bar. He takes that guy and loads him in his car, throws him out of his car in front of the other bar they run while he sets him on fire. So he sets that guy on fire after picking him out of his trunk. So the entire biker gang now watches one of their gang members just burn to death. Pretty badass. That's pretty badass. Like, again, everyone just watches. Don't even do anything. Just watch the guy burn to death. All right, good job.
No, you got to stop, drop, and roll there. That's a rookie mistake.
Also, speaking of something we thought we would do a lot of.
He probably would have died in quicksand, the fucking idiot.
So obviously, again, they have to get revenge on him.
Oh, yeah.
So they go back to the motel to kill Darcy and Austin because she's clearly helping him.
It's a twofer. Mm-hmm.
So in this scene, it's so terribly done. They're trying to ambush Austin and Darcy, so Austin goes, when
roll
I
up on motorcycles to do it.
They all try to creep up on him. They know they're coming. So they're like, all right, when I give you a signal, turn off the lights. And she turns the lights when they first walk in. And then the whole scene's dark aside from gunfire. And you see like the sparks fly and you see Austin's face while he's beating the shit out of people. And then he kills some people. It's just awfully done. So bad. There's absolutely no tension between Darcy and Austin. You don't need a love interest in these movies. It's a guy avenging his family. Just have him killing people. It's okay. It's pointless and useless, especially with someone who has no charisma like Austin. Again, I mentioned this again. If it's someone like Jason Statham who actually has charisma, it would work. But Austin is
Austin's
just
not
so
thinking about that. No. He's focused,
big fight
man.
scene. There's a big fight scene at the end, per usual. Trejo dies. Shocking.
Yeah.
Because again, the good guy has to win here. The cops let this man who just went on a fucking vigilante warpath walk free. He just killed doesn't.
No.
Yes, I understand he killed drug dealers and gun runners. I get it, but just went around killing people. No,
Like, well,
no warrant for their arrest. He's an ex-cop. Just I'm gonna go kill people.
I didn't see anything. These guys just showed up dead.
All right, so after cops let him leave, he has to leave the motel now. Darcy says, and here I want you to listen to this amazing dialogue here, because this is the nail in the coffin of really why it's a bad movie. My husband uses those. Oh, I'm sorry. My husband used to say, used to always say, the worst thing about shooting a gun was the recoil.
He said it. He said it.
There you go. But it goes on, and I think this might be the greatest use of the he said it in history.
Yeah, I might be out in this movie now.
All right, so she says, shooting guns, the worst thing is the recoil, right? It bruises you. The marks stay around for days, but then after a while, you get used to it.
No.
It doesn't bruise you anymore, and shooting a gun becomes a reflex. So it's an analogy that, and symbolism that, yes, it sucks my husband's dead, and that, Trejo killed him, but you learn to live with it and you learn to battle with it because you just becomes reflex that you're dealing with it.
Well, the worst part is they did that metaphor wrong too. You got to say it's the recoil. After a while, you don't feel the gun, but what happens from the bullet stays with you. Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be the recoil. It's got to be emotional. It ain't like, no, I don't care anymore. Now I just go bang, bang, bang because I do it a lot. Like, what the fuck? That's not, you people. All right.
So, again, mentioned this movie could have been better. We're going to rank this thing. And here's why I say this could be better, and the reason why I say that you can skip this movie. It's generic. It's a very common plot, avenging your family's death. I get it. I mean, fucking John Wick avenges his dog. And a lot of people avenge people's deaths. I get it. I mentioned that putting wrestlers who can supposedly act in the ring can act on the screen. I get it. But, again, Stone Cold has no charisma. And there's no tension between these lover interests, quote unquote, but they become like brother or sister. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Anyway, it's a generic ass plot, generic ass movie with generic ass like one-liners. So, what else am I gonna do? Generic ass popcorn, generic tin that you would find that's just lying around in the store with generic popcorn inside of it with no salt, no butter. It's just fucking generic.
Generic ass popcorn.
The thing is, it's not a bad movie. It's just done so blandly.
Well, see, there's reason
no charisma, there's no the one-liners fall short because it's delivered so badly. The acting's not terrible. Darcy, great. Danny Trejo, obviously great.
Right.
It's just it's the lack of charisma / anything emoting anything from Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's just deadpan whatever.
See, I'm okay with that because
if you're okay with that, this is your movie. I'm telling you, it's your movie.
No, because everything you're saying, I'm going in knowing. Oh, just from the name alone, the generic ass name, like, oh, you know what they're doing? Yeah. But I want to see Stone Cold beat somebody up instead of fucking. I've seen Stallone do it. Fuck Stallone. That's not even like I want to see a guy. Yeah, Stone Cold's hands are like goddamn toasters, man. He just. I don't know. The writing and the ending, it might put me off of it, but that line in the trailer, oh, I'm torn. I'm guessing you're not torn. I guess I know what.
If you had to ask, yeah, I'm gonna answer for you. It's just like button.
All right. I figured that.
Again, not a bad movie. It's just a basic movie. And I could do it. If I got one in my wheel again, I'd watch it. Whatever. It's fine. Whatever. But whatever, watch it again, not a chance in hell.
Well, I guess that means that.
That's the bottom line. The Stone Cold Simpson.
Also, Stone Cold, big wine drinker now.
Oh. Yeah, okay. I can see that. I'm
One
a
of my
Stone
favorite
Cold
things.
Vineyards. We make wine. We get you drunk.
You know what? When she's like, it's breakfast time. Yeah, my stomach is a little hungry. I'll take a beer.
Yeah, I'll have a cold beer.
And you know what?
After that, I'll have a second cold beer.
Yeah.
I'm going to wash that down with a third cold beer. Can I get a hell yeah? I don't know. I'm curious. It's like a car wreck.
Again, I really love Stone Cold. And the thing, like, he does a lot more overacting and, not overacting, but actually, like, emoting in Longest Yard, where he's a very, 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 very fucking racist cop.
Yeah, that accent sells it. It's
I won't say his line that I remember in the movie, but you can just infer what he says in the movie if you want.
I gotta guess. I haven't seen it.
You're gonna guess correctly.
Yeah.
But we gotta pick our next movie, and we're gonna be a little bit late to this party. But as I was looking into when I went to go search for this movie, to watch this movie we were watching, we're recording this around a special time in movie lore and where people were celebrating movies. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll just do it late. I don't give a shit. So let's do an Oscar theme episode now. There's a category on Tubi where it's Oscar nominees and winners. So we were like, let's do it. Why not, right?
Yeah.
It's a little late for the celebration of the Oscars, but you know what? I feel like these movies need some due justice.
It's a big list.
It was a massive list.
And we've got the same list. So the fact that we could put together 2 runs of 16 without a problem, like, amazing.
I was definitely nitpicking for sure because, again, that list is very long. I definitely skipped a lot of movies that I didn't recognize how to say it because of the foreign language.
Right.
As much as I do like foreign films, I don't need a 1940s artsy piece from France right now in my algorithm. So I skipped those.
Yeah,
but
and it also shows you the range of Tubi as far as what's available. Because, like,
what's I was like when someone was asking me a question, they're like, does Tubi do good stuff? I'm like, there's actually Oscar sections during Tubi time.
Yeah,
and
they're loaded with that. I just don't want to watch those. That's
right.
The problem isn't the availability on the app.
And like that's also like been my thing this season. I've stopped watching a movie every day, so there's a lot less time for me watching Tubi movies. It's pretty much only been just for this podcast.
Okay.
So my algorithm is skewing pretty much just purely what I'm watching for this podcast. So I also kind of want to keep it that way too, for kind of like
give us a better read. Yeah.
Give us just pretty much based on this podcast. So let's see if it like kind of skews a different way and how it will fluctuate between recordings.
Right.
I mean, there's definitely I think I've only watched one movie on Tubi that's not on this podcast. Now again, that was for Cinephobe. So again, movie podcast I listen to all the time. So we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah.
But we will have a guest this episode. And you gave him his choices, correct?
I did. I gave him 3 options and said, here's 3 pieces of shit from 79 to 82. You got any interest? And he said, yeah, I've seen that one. I would like to rewatch it. So, okay. All
right. We'll reveal that in a second then.
Yeah,
so let's start with your wheel.
Yeah. My wheel, the opposite of yours, I did put some of the 1920s and 30s shit on here. Not a lot, but funny thing, there is some repeats of things I've had on my past wheels. Not many, but yeah, there's some.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like you picked movies and I saw them as I went through my list too. I'm like, these are up your alley. So I feel like you still went with what would have been a normal algorithm for you. You still nailed it.
Yeah, so, there was plenty of things to choose from.
Let's see what you get.
Yeah, I'm excited. No fucking whammies. Preferably not black and white, but I put them in there, so... Okay. Clearly, if it's an Oscar nominee, it's widely considered a classic. I haven't seen maybe 20, 30 seconds of it in bits and pieces, but a funny thing happened on the way to the forum. I will be interested to watch that. I'm sure these jokes will land much better at this age than they would have if I'd have seen it any earlier, so probably a good thing I held off.
So I was curious of why you put ellipses after a funny thing.
Yeah,
know why.
I wasn't
The title
typing
went
all
very
that
long.
out. Yeah, fucking lazy.
Because I put that, because it's also on my list too. So I was like,
Oh.
all right, maybe it's a different movie. No, it's the same movie. So,
No,
okay.
yeah, just not typing all that out. Okay, you got some more. I'd say more classics.
All right, hold on 1 second. Yeah, double over news.
Yeah, that's what I call it too.
I kind of went with a little bit of different approach. Again, I kind of picked movies I've had heard of. There's only one movie on here that I've seen before. I want to rewatch it because I love the actor, American Gangster, by the way. That's the movie. But I've not seen the movie since it came out, so I have no idea how long that... I'm going to go 2005, maybe 2006. So 19, 20 years since that movie came out. So it's been a while since I've seen that movie. So I was like, you know what? I'll put it in there. I've definitely seen the remake of the Casino Royale with Daniel Craig. So I figured I'd throw in the original in there.
Yeah.
Also,
I went way more obscure. You went more, I guess, what I'd call more classics.
Yeah. There's also a movie on here that I have seen bits and pieces of. I bought the DVD when it was like the 5 for $20 deal at Blockbuster. Still didn't watch it after I bought it from there, and then sold it off and never watched it again. So I've never seen this movie in full. It's The Cooler. So it's got I think Alec Baldwin and William H. Macy and someone else. So yeah, we'll see what I land on. I picked some movies that or more recent, and I picked some movies from the 60s and 70s as well. Just I did not want to go obscure.
Show some range, you pussy.
I chickened out for this. I chickened out for this. I did. Because look, man, I've said before, I don't want to get into the whole artsy thing of like what makes an Oscar movie an Oscar movie. So I was like, you know what? Let me pick movies that I might actually like. I mean, there's a lot of things here that I was like, maybe not, but I
had
just knew
fucking Clara Bow in my list. Fucking Babe Ruth is in one of my movies that was on there.
You like to go for it. I don't like to go for it.
Yeah. I'm kind of disappointed, frankly. I thought it would land on something a little more.
All right, let's see what I get.
All right. No whammies. Oh shit! Where's it gonna end? Wow, I don't think I've ever seen
the line.
I've never seen the wheel do that.
That was on the line, right?
It was. I thought it was going to stop, and then it kept going and clicked over.
Oh my god! I was like, is it stopping there?
That's amazing. You guys should have seen that, but you didn't.
So again, like I said, I picked some 60s movies here. So I got a 60s classic, and that's the. I just look at the rating in this movie. It's not PG or PG. It's just approved. That's the rating in this movie.
Right.
Approved.
So old, mine were W. What do you want from me?
I got The Russians Are Coming. The Russians Are Coming.
I've never heard of this.
You never heard? I've heard of this movie. I've never seen it though, obviously, but I've heard of this movie.
I don't even know if I saw it when I was scrolling through the list, but no. 60s, I'm guessing?
1966.
Okay, yeah. Back when we knew the Russians sucked. Yeah, it was pretty common knowledge for quite a while.
I mean, this cast is pretty good. You got Carl Reiner and Alan Arkin in this movie.
Okay.
So, I feel good about it.
Clearly a comedy, right?
Yes.
Satirical take on the Cold War. I'd wager my left testicle.
I'd read your left and right, by the way.
Well, they ain't doing much. Might as well.
But no, we will have a guest.
Gambling.
One of your old time friends.
Yeah.
A radio buddy of yours, Mikey K, host of the Radio Mofo podcast, who's been a 3-4 time repeat offender at OSC.
Yeah.
He's been on there a few times, did some trivia with us as well. So you gave him 3 selections.
Him was it Joysticks? A 1981 video game based what I assume is a pile of shit. There was some weird horror whose name I don't remember. And then there was the 1979 Rock and Roll High School, which I believe is the Ramones, shown up on my list multiple times. Kind of hoping to get it just so I could watch it. Mikey said he's seen it, he enjoyed it, he'd like to rewatch it and find out if that's still the case. So we're going to go that route.
All right. So again, these are all nominees / winners for the Oscars. What did they win? What were they nominated for? We will find out, and we will reveal that on the next episode. It's going to be a mystery to all of us. When I think you asked me a question about what this movie received an Oscar for, just a random movie, and I was like, so there's a lot of categories. I think that movie you asked me for was like hair and makeup.
It was Remo Williams. The Saga Begins. It was like, what?
Yes.
Oscar? Like, this looks like a shitty Stallone knockoff from the mid-'80s. And
so there's many categories these movies can be nominated for.
Nominated for punchatography.
Pretty much, I have no idea what any of these could have possibly gone up for. I don't follow the Oscars. I don't care about the Oscars.
Same.
So when I see these as like Oscar films, like, cool, whatever that means. I don't know. So, but yeah, so that's going to do it for us here. And I mean, we had some, I guess, one good movie this episode. And we'll see if these are Oscar-worthy movies next time. You know, when the Russians are coming out of nowhere.
To the Forum.
To the Forum, yeah. I mean, you don't want the Russians at the Forum.
Rock and roll!
I mean, some might say that's the bottom line. You know, some might say
the bottom line! The Stone Cold said so!
I mean, hell yeah, right?
I moved it.
Where is it?
You're listening to be determined on the Half-Ass Podcast Network.